everybody. Once again, I am Greg Verga, and I'm joined with Dean, the Beast, and Jay. How are you, sir?
Hey, man, my name is Dean, and I'm really good. Thanks for asking.
Well, that was, like, suave and stuff. I don't know if I'm turned on or nervous or all the above. Surprise, everybody. Today, we will be discussing on another reaction time, Arrow, and this time we will be covering Season 3, Episode 15, titled Nanda Parbat.
Nanda Parbat.
I like that. This is a good dynamic. I want you to every time.
Let you down before.
I want you every time now to. As we do the arrow, you're gonna have to yell at me. You failed the city at the end of every episode. So do that at the end. I want to be taken by surprise. This is happening.
Okay, I'll try to wait
cool.
for my opening.
Okay, cool. There we go. Just feel it out. We'll feel out the situation. Let's just dive right in. This is what we're gonna do here. The show opens up and we see what's happening.
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
I'm like, what? The show opens up and we see Ra's al Ghul confronted by his daughter Nissa. Is it Nissa or Nissa?
I think they say it as Nissa.
They do, right? I like
I
Nissa,
so.
But like, I'm gonna go Nissa.
I don't really like the name in general. I just do what they do.
Okay, we just do the arrow way. And then he's confronted by his daughter about Oliver Queen returning to Starling City, which apparently he knew this whole time. He somehow knew that Oliver wasn't dead. Apparently, Starling City, too, I want to point out, is very well connected to Nanda Parbat in that they have the same news channels that everybody just knows when people come back and forth to places. Yep. So then we see Malcolm, Thea, and Oliver training in the Arrow Cave, which once again isn't that much of an Arrow hideout anymore. We see Laurel and Thea have an awkward exchange where she's still contemplating off the last episode, if you remember, trying to tell her about Sarah and Oliver telling her not to. So how did you feel about the whole opening sequence there?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really remember it all that well. So I guess I don't. I guess it wasn't too great if it didn't even was enough. I mean, I was able to remember the beginning from the episode before that one. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, this one was kind of just awkward. There wasn't really much going on here. Just kind of caught us up to where we were at. And then we see a flashback when we see Oliver's being debriefed by the U.S. Army after he had gone in, got the information last time, and Amanda Waller promised him that he could now return home to Starling City after he did this mission. He's being debriefed. Obviously, the general grants him freedom. Finally, he gets freedom. But that wouldn't be the Arrow way if everything just worked out with a bow on top of the present. Him and Maceo, they were walking away.
A bow?
No pun intended. This is how we do it. And he's walking with Maceo and Tatsu with their son back to get on the ship to ship off the family. As he's getting ready to say goodbye, all of a sudden, all the yacht members turn into, like, crazy assassins and they start shooting them. How'd you feel about that whole flashback scene?
That was cool. I like that. Like we had discussed in the last reaction time for Arrow, that he is like able to take care of himself now, and I feel like this was the first that we really got that impression. Yeah. Because he was kind of like, "Go, I got it. Thank me later." Yeah. That was cool. Overall, though, I'm wondering, and I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here too much, but I'm kind of wondering if like what's gonna happen when the flashbacks catch up with real time. And
that's my biggest fear is like, is the show just gonna stop with flashbacks in its entirety, or are they gonna try to go to before the island and just have everybody normal again? Because we saw last episode in the flashbacks they brought back the actor for Tommy Merlin, so I was like, oh, maybe this is where they're gonna go now and give us back Tommy and like the whole Laurel and him dynamic. But then they didn't cover that at all with flashbacks this episode, so I'm in the same boat as you. Not the Assassin's boat, but I'm in the same boat as you. So I guess we'll see.
Would you be okay with Arrow without flashbacks?
I totally would be, because I think that's why the Flash excels. I think the Arrow did the flashbacks. I think it worked for the island stuff, but as soon as they got into Hong Kong, all of these flashbacks I haven't been enjoying too much. I don't know about you.
Same exact, dude. That's so funny that you said that. I feel the same exact. I had the first season on Blu-ray, just binge watched. And I was like, this is awesome. They're kind of like duality, these two stories at the same time. And then like seeing the Hong Kong stuff, like at first I was interested. Now I'm just kind of like, I kind of just wish they would use that hour on Thursday.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And now too, because like you said, it's getting too convenient to where like the characters are being brought back up to where we see now all the parallels from the flashbacks in the last episode, like Detective Lance dealing with Sarah's death to now in the present day he's dealing with it. I'm like, I feel like all these scenarios are just convenient. I wonder if any of this actually happened. And that's what makes me, like, Oliver was there the whole time in Starling City. Like, come on. Now you're getting a little too crazy for a superhero vigilante that protects the city. Come on. And then as we continue on this episode, we see Roy Palmer and Felicity, who discuss the Atom suits. And we see that Palmer hasn't been sleeping for days. He hasn't been showing up to work. And he's trying to finish the suit. And Felicity finally puts in a password to his computer which conveniently we find out later in the episode it was just password was the password. Love Felicity even more. She gets better every episode. And she makes him take a shower and go to sleep and stuff like that, which was cool. And we'll get to more on them later in the episode. Oh, it gets a little steamy between Felicity and Palmer. And then we see Laurel reaching out to her dad with no luck once again. He's still pissed about Sarah. So how do you feel about Laurel and her dad? Do you think they'll ever resolve this?
I think they will. I think it's going to get drug out just like every other kind of like game between Laurel and her father does.
Yeah.
And eventually, it'll get resolved. I just wish it would happen like sooner so we can move on here.
Yeah, the Lances are the one dead weight on the show, I feel like. Every time they come into the story, I'm just like, here we go. And I'm kind of starting to like Laurel a little bit. Like, she's growing on me each episode, but like she's still annoying Laurel. And that's nothing against the actress. That's just the character that she portrays.
Right. I agree with you.
And just in case you're watching, actress who plays Laurel, we love you. We just don't like Laurel Labs.
In case you're watching, actress who plays Laurel, dye your hair or be a brunette. We're done with the stripper wig. We're done with it.
Hashtag stripper wig. I want that to be a hashtag. That has to start trending soon. Every Wednesday when Arrow's on, we want to see hashtag stripper wig be a thing. We see Thea shows up, and finally, as she has that little awkward altercation at the beginning of the episode to tell Laurel whether or not she killed Sarah, she finally does tell Sarah. Or tell Laurel about Sarah, excuse me. And she finally does. And Laurel kind of just forgives her about that. Once again, nobody cares that Sarah's dead. They're just all mad about the fact that they've been lying about the death. And she forgives her, and she kind of freaks out on her, not because she killed Sarah, but because she was working with Malcolm even after the fact of him brainwashing her. So how'd you feel about that altercation?
I was impressed with the fact that Laurel written well enough in the scene to be able to like differentiate the real killer here. Like she knew that. I was surprised because it would totally have been such a Laurel thing to have been like, you killed Sarah. Like she was normal about it and was like, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
But you working with it is your fault.
Yeah.
So I actually really like that whole reaction to it.
Yeah, once again, I feel like Laurel's growing on me, especially with those scenes, because I agree with you. They could have totally gone the route where they're just like, you're a Sarah killer, and like there would have been a whole another feud. But we didn't get that Lance drama this episode, so that was good. Then we see Laurel talking to Oliver about Sarah, and Thea revealing to her that she's the killer. Oliver refuses to stop working with Malcolm. Finally, they all come to their senses. I don't know how. Laurel woke them all up, apparently. Now Malcolm all of a sudden is a really bad guy. Like, what? How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, it's kind of weird how everybody just remembered that he's like the most terrible person ever. But I am glad that happened. You know what? I'm glad for my own benefit because even he had me being like, oh, maybe he's not so bad.
Yeah.
He's trying to help her. But then, like we said last time, like you forget he killed all these people.
Yeah.
Man. He's the worst dude.
He's literally the worst guy ever. And I liked, too, I always love, that's to John Barrowman's credit. He was a really good, long character in Doctor Who. That's the actor who plays Malcolm. And I think his charm and charisma kind of get you to kind of like him in a hating, loving way, where you're just kind of like, I feel like he could be a good person, but he's definitely not in any way, shape, or form a good human being.
Yeah.
Then we see, with Thea telling Laurel about everything, Laurel's dressed up in the Black Canary uniform, and Malcolm goes down this dark alley. You kind of don't know what's going to happen, and then Laurel comes out of the shadows, and he's like, really? I knew you were here the whole time. And she's like, I'm going to beat you up. You killed my sister, and gets taken down within 2 seconds. How'd you feel about that? I was laughing the whole way through.
Oh, I thought that was awesome. I loved it. He was like, didn't even flinch.
Yeah.
I really wanted to understand what a G was, and I'm kind of glad because like we had a little bit of training from like somebody needs to help our girl out. Like Oliver needs to really start training her.
Yeah, and he refuses to still. I get why, but like she's obviously not letting go of this mask. She's not letting go of her sister's legacy. So if anything, help the girl out so she doesn't die in these scenarios. It was literally just like him putting his hand on her head and her like swinging away. I'm like, you're really not. I'm like, that's so sad. And then the fight, the comedic scene of that whole scene gets broken up when Nyssa comes with the League of Assassins and takes Malcolm away. That's when shit hits the fan there, folks. We then see the gang back in the Arrow Cave discussing what happened, and Oliver totally throws out the window the whole last scene where he's like, I'm not going to give up working with Malcolm, and he now has decided he has to go save Malcolm from his inevitable Ra's al Ghul death fate. How'd you feel about him flipping in this episode?
he would. And here's the thing. When I'm mad with Oliver, like, I don't know if it's just because, like, I like him so much.
Yeah.
He knows the most logical thing to do in the situation. And, like, he doesn't. He turned to. He kills his best friend, who was his own.
Yeah. Like
he
crazy stuff.
How much of a jerk off Malcolm is.
Yeah.
Is like a means to an end, and he needs to do what he needs to do.
Yeah, and so he ultimately decides, great way to end that there, he ultimately decides that he's going to go back to Nanda Parbat, and they're going to rescue Malcolm, and once again he starts training to go fight Ra's al Ghul, thinking that he's going to obviously prevent him from getting there. We see Diggle and everybody else contemplate Felicity, same dilemma, you're not going to go back there, I don't want to lose you again. And then we see Diggle confront his wife about the whole situation, and she's like, listen, John, like, I know he's your best friend, and I know you're not going to let him go alone, and last time you couldn't live with yourself when you could have done something. So Diggle decides to go with his buddy, and they're going to go tackle Nanda Parbat together. I like seeing Diggle in his family moments, too. His wife and his baby. How'd you feel about that, seeing them again?
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I don't really like much in the Diggle scene. They're right up there with the Lance family.
Yeah, that's true, too, yeah.
Until my man puts on maybe a green ring at some point, I'm kind of uninterested in Diggle.
Maybe he's not John Diggle, maybe he's Jon Stewart. I hope that rumor's true. If you don't know, people, cool. There's a rumor going around that Mr. Diggle could be Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern, and that would be awesome.
He's talking like it's true.
Yeah.
He's not talking by not talking, which makes me feel like it's true.
Exactly. When you don't tell us the truth or blatantly lie to us, that's when we're just going to assume that everything that you're not saying is real.
Right.
And then we see that they go back there, they take out guys, and an awesome, like, fire arrows being shot out from Nanda Parbat. They go in there. They ultimately end up getting captured after doing really well infiltrating, but then they end up getting caged in by Ra's al Ghul. They have a nice bonding moment as brethren as they're shackled to the floor, and they're kind of like, listen, I love you both. And Diggle has this moment where he's like, I'm going to marry my girl, marry her anyway, no matter what he says.
Again, weren't they married before? It was his ex-wife.
Yeah, they got divorced, and then now he's going to repropose, but he asked Oliver to be the best man. How'd you feel about their little brother moment?
I liked it. I also really enjoyed Oliver's reaction, because, like, he's just such a chill sometimes. Like, he realizes, like, there's a real solid chance they're gonna die right there.
Yeah.
And Diggle's just kind of like, how do you feel about being my best man? He's like, I feel really good about it.
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna have the best wedding ever, as people are coming in with machetes at them. The next scene, this is what I was referencing before, we get a steamy, shirtless Ray Palmer, sorry. No, is it Roy? It's Roy.
It's
Ray. Is it Ray Palmer? Okay, I wrote Roy on that one thing. I think my phone auto-corrected, but God bless.
You're thinking of Arsenal.
Yeah, thank you. I'm wasted. They're not the same people. And then we see a shirtless Ray Palmer, and Felicity doesn't know how to deal with social situations ever. She just immediately clams up, and then the next scene, we see that they slept together. What? What? I thought she was in love with Oliver. How'd you feel about that?
I didn't like it.
Yeah, like, I know. I know.
I'm going to tell you why. Right? Not because of Oliver.
Okay.
A little bit because of Oliver.
Okay.
Oliver was super honest.
I know.
He was like, I love you. Right? He was about to go die. That was the last thing he wanted anybody to know.
Yeah.
This was like the first time I was like, you know what, Felicity? I don't really know if I like all that much.
Yeah.
He's been playing with my man Oliver.
Yeah.
He's been playing with my man Barry.
Yeah.
In the Flash. I don't like it. I don't like what's going on here.
When it comes to men, I feel like she's kind of a whore, if I'm going to be honest.
She is kind of a whore.
But, like, she's never done anything with Barry or Oliver, so, like, I kind of see how she wanted. She probably, like, she's a nerd. Like, she never was with anybody all her life. So, like, if she's getting some, good for her in that situation. But coming out of that in retrospect, I feel like you're right. She totally toys with all their emotions, and she never commits to one person. But would you like to see them together? Do you miss do you miss Felicity? Or would you like... what's their couple name?
The only reason I don't want that is because I'm really banking on the Black Canary Green Arrow thing finally clicking eventually.
Yeah, hopefully, and hopefully they see that happening. And we kind of get hints to it. And Laurel and Oliver were together at one point, so it's always a possibility. Relationship history is never an easy thing to let go of, as we probably all know. And then we have Laurel and Nyssa discussing Sarah and remembering her fondly. I thought that was a nice moment, even as Nyssa's caged up in the Arrow Cave. Until the next scene right after that, Thea kind of goes up and admits to Nyssa that she was the one that killed Sarah, and she unlocks the cage, basically asking for death. How did you feel about Thea going out off on the deep end there?
It's bold. I thought maybe she was going to try and fight her. I thought she wanted to like earn respect or something. I was like, oh, maybe she's gonna try and like take this girl on.
Yeah.
She was just kind of like, nah, I'm gonna just kill me.
Yeah, and Nyssa obviously doesn't, as we find out later in the episode. But she kind of talks to her and she's like, listen, like, you're not to blame, and that's what everyone keeps telling Thea too. Is like she's not to blame. She was brainwashed by Malcolm, and I think we're slowly going to see that arc come to a close. I think Thea's finally accepting it. Even Roy says all the time. We get to see him when he goes back to the family with Thea, and he's like, listen, like, this is the family of the cop I ended up killing. Like, I bring them food, I bring them groceries and stuff like that. And I'm slowly getting over it, but it takes time. You're never going to forget that stuff. So I kind of like that dynamic of her character.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that whole scene with Roy, too. That was more, it was, again, a little bit fleshing out Roy's whole character. I feel like Roy just needs an episode.
Yeah,
just
100%.
Give his own episode, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And then as we're continuing on here, we see that Roy and Thea in present day, like I said, when he kills the cop and whatnot, they have their little bonding moment. And then we see Roy and Felicity. Right after that, they did sleep together, and now he uses his Atom suit, gets out of bed, and he zooms by the window. How'd you feel about that whole scene? The Atom suit works. He can fly.
That was awesome, dude. The Atom suit looks so good.
Yeah,
I mean,
so good.
It's a good for a freaking CW budget, man.
Yeah.
That is a legit looking superhero costume. Dude.
Yeah. All metal.
Really excited.
None of it. I'm assuming none of it CGI. Like it looks like an actual legit metal Iron Man-esque suit.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they use that same like what did they use like fiberglass? I think. For the Iron Man suit.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's true. That could be that. But it looks.
I don't know, but it looks really, really good. Yeah.
And I was so happy he took flight and it worked. I thought maybe like it was gonna blow up or like he was gonna get hurt somehow, but it ended up working. And he has this little gleeful moment where you just see his face, Iron Man-esque, like the Marvel movies, in the suit, and he's zipping around, going everywhere. Felicity obviously doesn't wake up. Conveniently enough, she doesn't see that he left bed. But and then we see Thea once again discussing with Nyssa about Oliver and like what's gonna happen, like what's her father gonna end up doing to him if they do get captured. Flash forward to Ra's al Ghul taking Oliver out of the trapped cage that him and Diggle are in, and in a turn he takes out the sword, which we're thinking he's gonna kill him with again, and he asks him to take over his position. He wants him to be the next Ra's al Ghul. How did you feel about that? That's when the episode ends.
That caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
I thought for sure there was going to be another challenge initiated. I thought we were going to not see the fight maybe until next episode, but I thought at least they were going to throw down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. It took me totally off guard. I don't think there's going to be any merit to it in Oliver's eyes. I think he's probably going to be like, no, we're not.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to ask you. Is do you see him like becoming the League of Assassins master? Like, is this a possibility?
No. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know because he obviously has this in him.
Yeah.
Where he has like a streak, and maybe he's thinking, if Ra's al Ghul is out of the picture and they're all going to worship the Arrow or Oliver, maybe he's thinking like he can turn them around and have them help him save his city.
Yeah, that would be awesome, and
that'd be pretty cool.
I feel like Ra's al Ghul isn't a bad character. I just feel like he sticks to his morals no matter what. Like he's not a flip flopper like we see Oliver being. Like if somebody does him or his family or even his league wrong, he's gonna go after you all full force, like no agenda. Just you're gonna die at that point, and he won't twist his regard there, which I feel like isn't that terrible of a thing.
Of him anyway. In dealings with Batman, he's a son of a bitch.
Oh yeah. Just in the show I'm talking about.
In this show, this iteration of Ra's al Ghul is he very much just has his code of laws and he is sticking to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I like. I like it.
Yeah, and I once again nod to the acting. The actor who plays him is awesome. I like his Australian accent. I wish I could do an Australian accent to attempt to impersonate him, but I love his accent. He's a good actor. And then that's how the episode ended. Overall, I thought this was a really good episode. I thought it had a lot of cool surprises in it. Obviously, we get the reveal of Thea killing Sarah. Now everybody's in on that secret. We also get Thea kind of going over the edge, so we'll see what happens with her character. Will Oliver accept Ra's al Ghul's thing? How did you think about the episode?
I loved it, dude. I thought it was great. I thought it was one of the better ones this season.
Yeah.
The whole scene with them infiltrating Nanda
Parbat, yeah. Parboob, as we call it.
That was awesome. I love that it was like Oliver's time to shine, and like in that scene, like he was like, "Oh, there's gonna be archers right here.
Yeah.
Are you for real?"
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everyone's little time in the sun in this episode.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. And yeah, great cinematography in this episode as well when they're infiltrating the fire arrows.
Yeah.
I just love the storm of fire arrows that comes by as they conveniently miss every single shot of all 1,000 arrows. But yeah, I really liked it. Once again, Nanda Parbat, we don't know where that is, but I'm assuming it's the same vein as the island. Oliver just has all of these maps that he's just charting in the Arrow Cave to get to all these awesome places.
Well, wasn't that he got Nyssa to tell him how to get there?
Oh, right, this is true. That connects. All right, so this part makes a little bit of sense. Nyssa's kind of like, you're going to make a left here. It's like Dora the Explorer. You're going to go over the bridge and then to Grandma's house, and he makes it there.
I forget why, because at first she was like, "You're gonna torture me to find out where it was," and he was like, "No, you're just gonna tell me." And then I forget the reason why she was gonna.
I don't think it was significant at all because I didn't have anything written down about that exchange. I even completely forgot about that. So yeah, but you're right. She does tell him, so I did forget about that part. But yeah, so for everybody else tuning into Arrow, we will see what happens next week. And conveniently enough, we don't have any of the Flash episodes happening, but that is not on us. The Flash is returning on March 17th. I just want to warn people that have been watching these. The Flash is not done. It wasn't canceled. They just took like a 3 to 4 week hiatus.
Was it just a little spring break?
Yeah, it was just a little 4-week break. I don't know why they did that, but the Flash should be back. Yeah, me too.
I'm missing that in my life.
That's my favorite one of these superhero shows that we do. So hopefully we see them come back. I believe they're coming back on March 17th. So we got another 2 weeks for them to come back, but we will see that, and we will be covering that and more Arrow episodes. I want to thank you for joining me again, Dean.
Thanks for having me, dude. I love you. I love your face, and I love everything that you say to me.
Agreed, and same to you. So I was going to say "and love," but that's like a tennis term, right? When they like have the same score. 27
love is when you tie, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I want us to be British. Oh, wait, you have to do the thing.
Gregory Verga, you have failed this city.
That's all I ever want in my life. I kind of feel like I'm gonna have nightmares about it, but in like the best way possible. Of course, people, you can check out all of our other crazy annex, especially with me and Dean. We do a whole bunch of reaction times and other original content. You can go check that out there at youtube.com/TheLevelUpShow, level spelled LVL. If you want to donate to us and you love us that much, you can give us your money at patreon.com/TheLevelUpNetwork, and all of that goes to helping us improve other shows. And that level is spelled exactly as it sounds. I will put that on the bar right here so you can click the link. Dean is doing, what is that, a clam?
It's my empty wallet. We need you guys.
Oh, I'm like, what is he? This doesn't have to do with, I don't know what's happening. It would have been better if you like threw out butterflies or something. Next time we'll do like dry moss for you guys.
Let me just get my stash of butterflies, Grant.
Well, for all of that and more, people, always remember to level up, and we love you all. We will see you soon.
Level up.
Boy.